maize, pineapples, and we foraged most of our food. We foraged for mushrooms and picked wild fruits. It was so remote. I didn't have any neighbors. I didn't have any friends. My only friends were the animals. And we kept pigs and goats and chickens and no cattle because that area was not suitable for cattle farming. And my mother smoked sausages and make them, encase them in the intestines. And our diet was mostly vegetarian, and meat was a feast. Um, During the day, I would chase baboons from our maize field, and at night we would look after our animals from hyenas. And then I remember baboons would come in their colonies, and I was like a little girl, and I was scared. And then I would make faces like this, and then they would imitate as well. They would do the same thing as well. And thinking of that makes me really nostalgic because I yearn for the African bush. Um, and most of the, if in the evenings, it was filled with African stories of animals and how they communicate with each other. One of the most I remember is called Te 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 Zavambire, Te Te Zavambire, Zvakaite vaseshure, Te Te Zavambire, Vakati ngatibikane, Te Te Zavambire. So this was a discussion between a baboon and Kalulu the hare. The baboon suggested they cook each other. So Kalulu was very clever. He suggested that he would cook baboon first. But the moral of the story is like, don't agree to do things that might get you into trouble. Families and neighbors invariably supported each other, and when there was a dispute, everyone got together to find a resolution. And if that wasn't resolved, then we would go to the chief. It was called Kadari, and it's still widely practiced even today. When I was growing up, also our hospital was 10 miles away, and so it was difficult to get there. And then a doctor would come periodically, but there would be a nurse. And I remember my mom telling me she delivered 2 of her own children by herself, and then she became a midwife in the community and delivered many babies. And so most of the births were at home, and a baby would be kept in the house, not to be seen by anyone for 6 weeks, because I would call that maybe it was a way of infection control, because they believed if the baby was seen by outsiders, it would be bad luck or the baby might die. So that was the thing. And they still practice that today in the rural communities. As a herbalist, we all know very well that herbal medicine is the oldest and still the mostly widely practiced medicine in the world today. In Africa, I'm speaking mostly of Southern and Central Africa, herbal medicine is a very long, rich history. Much medical practices were deeply mingled with the cultural beliefs and traditional religion as well. One criticism I'll make of that is herbal medicine in Africa is shrouded in mystery. So there was no sharing, everything was secret. The ways in which women and men made themselves attractive was very colorful. You can see the way I'm dressed today. And then the women would cut tattoos or cuts on their faces, on their bodies to adorn themselves. And they will use roots bags, like powder to put to insert on the, and then those tattoos would stay with them for a long time. And then women, as young girls, would be taught to make beads for themselves, and then this was for sexual attraction. So these beads are 200 years. They've been passed on from my great grandmother. So they are passed on to the daughter, or if you don't have daughters, then the children of your brothers, so to the nieces. So yeah, so they were done by my great grandmothers. Um, and then they were called this. They were called Nyora tattoos. So my aunts and mother had all these tattoos on their faces. We didn't get a chance to have. Maybe we are more into makeup now. um, Traditional religion. So in Africa, when someone dies, the whole family will gather together the night before the burial, and then we will be dancing and singing to celebrate the life of that person, at the same time grieving together. And they will imitate the way they behaved, or tell stories about that person. And then after, it was believed that it was to ease the person into the ancestors' world, and then that was an easy passage for them to go. And then our religion is a type of animism, and a belief in the spirit world, and ancestors are honored and respected. They can influence our lives today, and they can be consulted. From time to time, when I feel I need to do that, I always consult my ancestors, and I feel they're there. I strongly believe in that. Um, and then also, uh, illness was associated with something bad that had happened to someone, and then you might call a medical consultation here, but it was more like you would go and see the um, the, the traditional healer, but they will have an assistant with them, and then that will be passed on from grandfather to grandmother, or yeah. So and then they will learn through apprenticeship, and it will take many years. So they will be taken into the bushes to learn about the herbs and how to use them. But if they uh, if, to okay, sorry about that. I missed a little thing. So I went with the spirit medium. Last year I went to visit where my grandparents came from, in the Zambezi Basin in Mozambique. We went to see the spirit medium. So you have to go early in the morning, around 5 a.m. in the morning, and you don't see them in their hut. There's a hut in the bush. So you go there, you have to remove your shoes, you have to be invited, and then you can say what you want to find out. So I wanted to find out more about my grandfather, ancestral heritage. It was a bit scary, but I was fine after that. So after that, then you meet up the traditional healer outside. They won't remember what they were saying to you, because they will be possessed by the spirit. So I will be the ones telling them what they were saying. So it was an interesting experience, and it's still practiced widely again. And becoming a practitioner, uh, you had to like before talking of what we might call professional practitioners, we must acknowledge